Hello my lovelies and welcome to episode 80 of TechSpert Weekly. It's obviously a completely arbitrary number, means nothing, but it still does kind of feel like some sort of minor accomplishment to reach episode 80 and this bag of bollocks. And one that I definitely feel is well worth celebrating in the obligatory traditional British manner of drinking alcohol until I can no longer feel feelings. But of course, before everything is allowed to go comfortably numb, first of all we've got to dissect the week's tech news and finger the juiciest organs within. And this week that lovely plump pancreas is a bit of Vivo action, and we've got the delicious liver of Amazon. You know what, I'm just going to abandon this analogy before it goes to really dark places. TechSpert Weekly. So the big phone launch this week happened when Vivo pulled back its anorak and showed off its lovely pair of blowers, the X70 Pro and the X70 Pro Plus. These not particularly cheap handsets are proper premium androids boasting spooge-worthy specs and the usual clever clogs camera hardware, with 5-axis gimbal stabilisation that's so smart it would make even a brain doctor look like a proper thickie. The standard Pro is powered by a MediaTek Dimensity 1200 chipset, just like the new Xiaomi 11T, while the Plus model upgrades that to a Snapdragon 888 Plus platform, although both could smash through a proper game of Genshin Impact, no worries. And while both sport that gimbal camera tech and a zoom lens, it's the Pro Plus which definitely impresses more in testing conditions. And I love you beautiful bastards so much that not only have I unboxed and compared both the Vivo X70 Pro and the X70 Pro Plus, but I've also done you a full review of the X70 Pro Plus as well, which, spoiler alert, it's effing marvellous. Earlier in the week, Amazon also unveiled its latest range of smart home goodies and services, including the obligatory robot which one day will rise up against us and grind our bones into dust. Although at least Amazon hasn't made the mistake of giving its own Deathbringer actual legs, unlike those crazy fools over at Xiaomi. So at least you've got a slim chance of survival as long as you can just make it to some stairs. Plus, yeah, gotta admit, that Astro is cute as f***. I wouldn't actually mind being murdered by a machine if it does a charming beatbox as my life force drains from my broken, twitching body. Sadly, the Amazon Astro is only going to be exterminating humans stateside for now. There's no set UK release date, although hopefully it'll come over here soon, before I decide to end my own existence in the traditional northern manner of death by red aftershock. Now, if your little bundle of joy hates Skyping with their grandparents because, and I quote, they're old and sucky, then your life could be made less unbearable by the Amazon Glow, a mini projector video chat type thing that kids can use to interact with remote family members and friends. So they could read books with grandma or cheat like utter bastards at online games with their besties. To get started, your kid will need the Glow, but friends and fam can join in the fun with their mobile device. The Amazon Glow goes on sale in the US for $249 from next month, and yeah, you guessed it, once again no set UK release date, so us Brits are gonna have to wait. Although hey, we're used to queuing up 5 fucking hours just to fill our bloody cars these days, so whatever, bring it on. Next up was the flippin' massive Echo Show 15, a smart display with improved performance and new Alexa widgets. And the Echo built-in camera can recognise your mug when you stagger by to serve up personal info, for instance your daily schedule, so you can see which of your child's various clubs you just forgot to pick them up from. You could also watch a bit of Netflix, YouTube, whatever, on that mighty 15-inch screen, although I would ignore Amazon's recommendation of Cinderella, starring grade A bellend James Corden. Frankly, I'd rather watch maggots feasting on the putrid decaying remains of my own mutilated corpse. Or Mrs. Brown's boys. And good news! This one actually is coming to the UK later in 2022 for 239 quid, also coming to the US for $249. Next up, the Amazon Kids Plus service is getting loads of new content that looks like a sack of arse juice next to proper kids classics like Danger Mouse and Thundercats, but hey, I'm not the target audience here, I'm just some old twat. But seriously, what the actual f*** is this noise?
It's me, Blippi, and I am so excited about my brand new show, Blippi's Treehouse.
I've got a bad feeling this guy's next starring role is going to be Project U-Tree 2, The Gropening, coming to Netflix in 2032. It might be possible we found something worse on TV than James Corden. Now, if the sheer joy of being alive these past 2 years has encouraged you to feast excessively on booze and pork pies, well, no worries. The new Halo View fitness tracker taps into the Halo subscription service, which will soon be boosted with exercise routines and diet tracking. The View costs $79 with a year of Halo membership included, and yeah, you guessed it, no sign of this coming to the UK anytime frickin' soon. So I guess we're just gonna have to continue to stuff our faces with booze and pies. And Amazon also announced a shagload of Ring shenanigans, including the virtual security guard, where someone you don't know monitors your home remotely using your very own cameras, which sounds like something straight out of a creepy Stranger Danger movie. And there was lots of other tech stuff. Frankly, it was an endless friggin' onslaught of shiny new gadgets. I probably missed about 10 smart speakers just when I dodged out for a quick piss and to crack open another tinny. But sadly, really short on time this week, which tragically does mean it's time for the part of the show that would probably even make a Buddhist monk go on a frantic machete killing spree. It's viewer comments! Viewer comments! Alright, start this week with a hot bit of Robert action. He says, I love waking up to some Techspurt, 7 AM, New Jersey. Hello, New Jersey. Hope you guys are enjoying your Cheerios or whatever sugary American cereal you are consuming this morning. And that reminds me, actually, I'm going to book up tickets to go see The Many Saints of Newark as well. I haven't been back to the cinema since bloody COVID began at the beginning of 2020. In fact, the last thing I saw at the cinema was Frozen 2, which is just tragic. Cedric Cottage says, finally, a good review of the Microsoft event, especially the first half. Who cares what's new anyway? I'll need a laptop. I'll buy one of their latest. Anyway, yeah, I mean, the new Surface machines look decent if you've got the old cash. Hopefully be able to bring you guys full reviews imminently. Next up, Ted says, the original Duo, the Microsoft Surface Duo phone, is now 720 quid off. Hope that happens again next year with the Duo 2. I mean, I'd be shocked if it didn't, because let's face it, it's a very niche device. It's already quite a hard sell, and then at that sort of price point, well over £1,000, you're going to struggle. And just look at Motorola's recent reboot of the Razr smartphone, obviously classic, original. I really like that foldable new version as well, but it was like £1,500 or whatever, and that's just insane, especially when you're not getting premium cutting edge tech other than the foldable screen. And clearly they didn't make many sales, because soon after the launch of the original Razr, they started doing a buy one get one free deal, which is just one of the most bizarre. Why not just make them half price? They clearly had a lot of units to shift, but yeah, why take one bendy phone out when you can take two? And next up, Jed Bullet says, you kept me sane, if not quite sober, through a nasty divorce and a house sale which completed this week as well. Now I'm free at last and can watch your salubrious content to my heart's content until I pass out. Oh Jesus, mate, I'm really sorry to hear about those recent wars. I mean, a divorce must be bad enough, but buying and selling a house is just an absolute horror show. 100% worse than cancer of the cock. I don't know why they have to make it so freaking torturous every time. 100% I'd rather wake up in a Saw movie and have to chop off my own buttocks than have to go through another house sale again. I'd rather just douse this place in petrol and put a match to it, frankly, than yeah, have to go through all of that rigmarole again. Next up, Jaded Peanut Butter says, Mr. Waffle Stomp himself, hello, says, Manic Miner on the ZX Spectrum is still the best game ever. You can keep Gears, Call of Duty, etc. That game was epic. Yeah, I mean, epic is the word for it. That game was bastard hard, man. It was really good, but Jesus Christ, I think it took me the best part of like 2 years to finally get to the ending. And then all you see is like Mr. Manic Miner himself just walking along with a jazzy little tune for 2 seconds. And it's like, that was worth it. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous how much video games have changed just in the last 20, 30 years. I mean, earlier this week I started playing Death Stranding Director's Cut. And I say it playing. In the first 2 hours, I basically watched a load of mental cutscenes and walked a dude up a hill. And at about the sort of 2-3 hour mark, my 6-year-old daughter wandered in and asked what I was playing. And I tried to explain it to her. I was like, oh, I'm just busy carrying my dead mother on my back. I'm just taking her to an incinerator so I can burn her corpse before it turns into black goo. And she was like, why are you just walking? Why don't you run there? I was like, I can't run because then I might overbalance and fall over a bit. So I've got to be really, really careful. Got to go around those rocks in case they trip me over. I mean, seriously, this guy's got absolutely no balance at all, and his entire job is just to walk from one place to another. I mean, it's basically the same as downing half a bottle of whiskey and then going for a ramble in the Peak District. Yeah, they might as well just call it Summer Holidays the game. Anyway, yeah, I'm not sure I really get on with Death Stranding, but if any of you guys have played it and actually enjoy it or have similar feelings, definitely let me know in the comments. Over the Hill MTB says, I'm looking at replacing my Pixel 4 XL soon. I was considering the Sony Xperia 1 Mark III, but do you think it might be worth holding off for a Pixel 6 Pro instead? They're going to be very different smartphones. The Pixel 6 Pro, guaranteed, it'll be great if you just want to point and shoot and get good looking photos every time. The Sony Xperia 1 Mark III, definitely if you're au fait with DSLRs and you like to tinker around with various settings before you take a shot, then the Xperia is perfect. You want to get some really snazzy looking video as well. That Cinema Pro mode is fantastic. Now, to be perfectly honest, I'd look for good deals on the Xperia 1 Mark II, which I absolutely adored from last year. The Xperia 1 Mark III isn't a massive leap up. So that's my thing. Riz says, would you ever recommend using a phone without a case? I always buy a case or 8 when I buy a phone, but I always wondered if anyone out there went commando with their phones. Well, you know what Uncle Spurt says, keep it wrapped, kiddies. Now, whenever I test smartphones, I always test them without a case or cover, just to see if they do get scratched up easily and, you know, just everyday wear and tear and all of that shenanigans. But if I actually owned a phone myself, especially if it was a very expensive premium smartphone, then I would almost certainly slap some sort of protective cover on it, and I would definitely put a screen protector on it as well, because I absolutely hate it when a screen gets a scratch on it. Like, we're obviously not talking the same level of hate as moving house, but it's definitely right up there with like getting your foreskin trapped in your zipper. Fraser says, greetings from Milton Keynes, and by Milton Keynes I do of course mean Shanghai. Yeah, that's alright, dude. You don't have to worry about it. As long as you don't live on a tropical island with all year round sun and cheap booze, then it's okay. You don't have to pretend to live in some shitty UK dump. And apologies to anyone who does actually live in Milton Keynes. I haven't been there for many a year, so I'm sure it's absolutely lovely now. One of the British gems in the crown. And I've actually never been to Shanghai. Definitely need to get my arse there one day. Looks very cool. Next up, I know I'm going to f*** up this pronunciation, so apologies in advance. Alyosa says, pretty sure you're the only reviewer I've seen doing Motorola reviews. Why does nobody else cover them? Yeah, I mean, all the UK tech journalists that I know do review the Motorola smartphones. So if you know, for all the websites, the general tech publications, it's just here on YouTube that nobody seems to really give a shit, which, you know, go figure, YouTubers apparently prefer playing with really expensive iPhones instead. Next up, FireCookie15 says Motorola should make a small screen phone like the iPhone 12 mini. I mean, everyone should make a small phone, frankly. I'm absolutely done with these near 7-inch behemoths. I mean, this week I was reviewing the Vivo X70 Pro Plus, which is like 6.8 inches. I tell you what, by the time I'm like 45, my fingers are just going to be useless twigs from all of this enforced stretching. Jasp65 says, we're lucky enough to live only an hour away from Southwold. Their tour of their distillery is highly recommended with a sampling session at the end. Yeah, I've most definitely done that distillery tour and the brewery tour twice as well. Absolutely love it. And all of the delicious alcohol that they output. They were really generous with those samples as well on both fronts. In the distillery, I lost count of how many shots of whiskey and vodka and gin and stuff that I did. And then after the tour, staggering into the shop, and there's someone there behind a desk giving you even more free booze in little shot glasses. So yeah, by the time I finally got out of that shop, I was absolutely faced. I was practically crawling my way out of that place. And also I noticed they strategically placed all of the glasses and things right next to the exit, all the breakables. So yeah, so you've had your samples, you stagger into that lot, and you suddenly owe them $2 grand. Looks like we've got some whiskey/bourbon recommendations from Dr. Tomo. He says, get your mitts on Buffalo Trace, Nika, which is Japanese, and Uncle Nearest. I've definitely tried Buffalo Trace before, and I've definitely heard of Nika. I think that's owned by either the Asahi guys or the Kirin guys, one of the sort of the big booze corporations out there, isn't it? But I've not tried Uncle Nearest before. Definitely I'll tell you what, there's a whiskey shop not too far from here, so I'll definitely have a bit of a squint next time I stagger in there. And definitely thank you for the recommendations, very much appreciated. Next up, Lone Wanderer says, you seem to have a good amount of drinking time on your hands despite having to work. Yeah, I mean, that's the good thing about being a YouTuber, is I can basically combine my hobbies of banging on about tech and drinking alcohol, and also make a little bit of money out of it as well, which is a major plus. Speaking of which, there's a couple of comments here about asking what I actually do for a living. I'm definitely fortunate enough that the channel has grown to the point now where I can make enough cash just off the YouTube stuff to live off. But I do also do a bit of freelance journalism on the side as well, so you might occasionally catch some waffle from me in the likes of Stuff magazine, for instance. Next up, Typhoon808 says, Samsung, Motorola and Nokia are going to be releasing budget tablets soon. Will you be reviewing all 3 tablets when they're released? Yeah, those tabs definitely making a bit of a comeback. I may possibly have already touched a tablet from one of those 3, and you know, I'm always down for reviewing a bit of Motorola action. Bring it on, motherfuckers. And better make this the last comment for the week, because yeah, absolutely run out of time as always. GLC says, have you heard anything on Onward Mobility's Onward Mobility's, that's a tough one to say, BlackBerry or Samsung's A72 5G could both be delayed or cancelled because of the global semiconductor shortage. Absolutely bugger all on either front, unfortunately. Onward Mobility is still offering its clunkily titled pre-commitment program, I believe it is, on the website, where you can sign up to hear when they've actually got them vaguely ready for launch. So I have signed up for that, but nothing so far. And it looks like the original estimate of a 2021 release is going to be a little bit optimistic. But hopefully soon, though. It'll be very interesting to get another BlackBerry in my midst, that's for sure. I did really love the Priv from however many years ago that was now, like 4 or 5 or something. But anyway, yeah, thank you very much to everyone who commented last week. Fantastic reading those comments, as always. Please do smash some more down below. It'd be great to hear your thoughts on fresh tech, ZX Spectrum shit, creepy robots that want to drain all of the blood from our bodies. But there's just enough time for a look ahead to next week. Next week, what the f*** is next week? Looks like a fairly busy one, actually. We've got a Huawei MateBook launch on the Tuesday afternoon, Nokia shenanigans on Wednesday morning, and then there's an actual Sky launch as well on Thursday, where the rumours have it they're going to be actually launching a proper telly box of their own. And that's an actual physical event on the Thursday morning. Hopefully you'll have a good few bacon butties and loads of coffee at the ready. So yeah, stay tuned for full news on that. I'll try and get a video live on the Thursday, and then on Friday, if I'm still alive and vaguely conscious, then Techspert Weekly at noon as usual. So all that remains is for me to say thank you very much for watching to the end of this utter drivel, as always. Very much appreciated. If you haven't done already, please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Join the Spurton army. Why not? It's a giggle occasionally. Have yourselves a fantastic bloody weekend, as always. Love you!